Hello, what is up guys? I'm your host Gordon and welcome to another one of my video. At the previous video of me doing an in-depth review of my 2012 Kia Forte Koup, after the video was published, the link is in the description below, I have been asked numerous questions regarding the pros and cons of this car, what is my personal experience of this car, what is the possible problem that a person might face, what is the problem that I have faced so far after owning this car, and etc. So in this video, we are going to address all of that. So let us start off with the good thing first. Overall, the good things of owning a Kia Forte Koup is of course the head turning factor, because first of all, this is indeed a rare car with only two doors and the low sloping line on the roof over here, not to mention huge rims. One of the reasons of a person wanted to own a sports car is the way how the car opens its door. Of course, this is not a scissor door or a suiciding door, but when you open the door, you'll be greeted by this beautiful frameless window that actually telling you that this is a coupe or a sports car. The second good thing about the car is of course practicality. Many people kind of have the false perception of owning a coupe. You can have a huge trunk space over here, but not for this car. This car particularly has a really big trunk space over here. As you can see, I have a full golf bag in here, I got a luggage bag in here, I got a box full of crap in here, and I can personally go inside the car without any problem. Take a look at that. Of course, we can do that after removing the luggage and the box. So with the luggage and the box in the car, this place is definitely a tight spot, but in this car you can definitely fit another person in there after you remove the golf bag, that is. And another good thing about the Kia Forte Koup is of course the headroom of the back seats. As you can see, not all sports car or coupe will have excellent room in the back seat, but for the Kia Forte Koup, I am 6 foot tall, about 185 cm, and I can barely having a headroom of, I can actually put a hand on top of my head before actually touching the roof over here. And the leg room, generally it is pretty generous. I can actually fit a hand over here, but this is my normal driving position, so it's going to be at a tighter spot. But if it's in the passenger side, I will definitely have much more leg room than this. So let's talk about the problem that I've experienced in the car. So overall, throughout many years of ownership of the Kia Forte Koup, the only problem that I had experienced is definitely knocking sound in the steering wheel, which is caused by a disintegrated or destroyed coupling, which is a very normal thing in any Korean cars, especially the Cerato series or the K3 or the K5 series, or even the Elantra series. So that itself is actually pretty cheap to fix if you know how to do it the DIY way. So you can get those cut rubber couplings for only maybe $10 and you can replace it yourself. In terms of workmanship, it's a little bit hard to get into, but if you are able to do it yourself, it's definitely going to be a cheap fix. And if you decided to send in to a mechanic, to do it for you, it may cost maybe around $100 or so, $100 or $200, due to the workman is a little bit at the harder side. The second things that I've experienced so far is definitely some damage at the clock spring, which rarely happens. Okay, this only happens because I'm stupid enough to take off the steering wheel and put it back together, and this happens because of my stupidity, which I'm trying to replace the coupling my own in some ways, and I maybe kind of accidentally damage the clock spring a little bit, but thank God the airbag didn't shoot up. But you will have a weird ticking noise sometimes. It's like a rubber rubbing noise every time you turn the steering wheel, which is kind of annoying, but that doesn't really bother the drive so much. I don't really call this a problem though, but it is something that can be easily fixed, which is the stock steering settings. The power steering is a little bit at the softer side. Sometimes it is way too soft. It is a little bit, you know, not fun to drive. But this is definitely more like things I hate about the car, but it is a fixable thing. So I guess I will try to address this in the video. You just need to add a strut bar in the car to make the car a little bit much more stable, and then yep, this steering will be a little bit harder to turn, but it is still at the lighter side. The paddle shifter in the car is a little bit at the fragile part, I would say, because one day when one of my charging cable actually accidentally hooked at the negative part of my pedal shifter, and I'm just trying to slowly take the thing out, and for some good reason maybe I put in a little bit too much force and I actually snap out the negative pedal shifter, which is fixable in a DIY way. I just buy another pedal shifter, the negative side, and then just put it on myself easily. So be careful about that. The pedal shifter is at the fragile side, so be gentle with it. After many years of ownership of this car, overall I didn't really actually experience any problem. Not in the transmission, not in the engine, not in the suspension, and nothing else. And speaking of suspension, if you are planning to own this car, be warned that the suspension is at the lower side and it is a little bit at the stiffer side compared to regular sedans. It jeopardizes driving comfort. In cornering, this car is definitely good because of the low center of gravity due to the lower suspension. But the stiffer suspension actually causes the car to feel the road even more. Every time you go through a speed bump, you feel it. You definitely feel the road. Compared to regular sedans, the driving comfort is definitely not good. But this is what you expect of owning a sports car, a coupe. I'm pretty sure the BRZs experience the same problem as well. And overall, I've never experienced any electronic failures. I've never experienced any major huge problem of this car. So far, just regular maintenance and the car is good. And there is a misconception of a lot of people that this car might consume a lot of fuel, which is actually false, because in my experience, the fuel consumption is very low for this car, which I'm surprised. This is a heavy car. This is a 2-liter engine car, and the fuel consumption is surprisingly low for this car, which is one of the good things. Another one of the good things about this car is safety features. This car has 10 airbags. How about that?